Hey there, this is Charlie Cleveland, and this video is to explain how to play my new card game called Moonlight. Moonlight is kind of a variant of the classic Cosmic Encounter, where each player plays a really crazy different creature, in this case a vampire, and that creature has a really strange rule that breaks the game in some crazy way. And I love Cosmic Encounter, and it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it inspired Magic the Gathering, another one of my favorite games. The problem with Cosmic is that you actually can't really play it with a bunch of normal people, because you need to, set up all these counters and pieces, and it's just a pretty complex game. And I wanted to distill that down into something simpler that I could play with my non-ultra gamery friends. I do have some, and especially to be able to play something nice before dinner around a glass of wine. And I don't really want to play Cranium or something like that. I want to play something good, something really good and deep, but something that had, something they can play and that I'm going to be happy with, they're going to be happy with, and we can actually get a lot of table time. So without further ado, this is the Tabletop Simulator version. You can download the PDFs and print up your own cards. It is meant to be played at a table with real people, but for playtesting and prototyping, I thought it would be a lot easier just to do this in Tabletop Simulator. So here we are. All right, so first thing you want to do is shuffle all these cards. And we got the vampire cards, we got the human cards, and we have a hospital. Okay. So we're going to put the hospital in the center of the table. Okay, and then we're going to deal out one vampire to each player. We're going to pick some kind of simple vampires to start here. Okay, let's do these three. Okay. So when you play the game yourself, you can, if you want, you can allow players to choose their own vampires, or you can do it randomly. But the game, it's still kind of early, so I haven't decided how that should work yet. Get rid of these vampire cards. We're not going to need them, probably. Okay, and then we're going to deal out one human card. And we're going to deal out one human card between each vampire. Okay, so here we have a 911 operator. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Okay, it's going to go between, so in this case we have a 3-player game, and we're going to put one vampire one human between each one. Okay, let's see if we try this again here. Put one here. I apologize, I'm kind of getting used to this software. Okay, and we'll put the sniper here. Okay. Then we're going to put the starting number of blood, which in this case you can see in the upper right-hand corner. That 7 is how much blood the Flash vampire has. These are placeholder names, but again, bear with me. Okay, and then we have the Illusionist. This player starts with 8 blood also, conveniently right here. Put 8 blood on top. And we have the Devourer, who also has 8 blood. Okay, cool, that was nice. Okay, and then also if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you see the amount of influence that vampire has. Now the goal of the game is to get 10 influence. This Devourer is pretty powerful, so he starts with 4. Some of the other vampires, maybe if they're a little bit less powerful, they might have even less. Flash starts with 5, so he's going to need 5 more influence to win, and etc., etc. Okay, the way you get influence is you are going to be attacking these humans that are in between the vampires, and you can see if a player kills a psychiatrist, he gets that 2 in the upper left, that fleur-de-lis. That means he gets 2 influence, which is quite a lot. Most of the humans are 1. And you can also see in the upper right there's 2 blood, so that's how much blood the psychiatrist has before he dies. So we're going to just set this up properly and put the 2 blood on there, and then also 2 blood on the sniper. Oops. Try this again. Okay, there's 2 blood there, and then we have the 911 operator, also 2 blood. Okay. All right, so we're almost done with the setup. Again, this is supposed to be played with wine, so this is supposed to be pretty darn easy and not take a lot of table space. We're going to put 1 blood on top of this hospital, if I can manage to do that. There we go. The hospital is kind of it's a shared resource that we can all attack that will allow us to get some hidden advantages. So every turn, the hospital is going to grow in blood. You'll see how that works in a moment. Okay, and then we're going to give each player the same 2 action cards. There's 2. There's bleed, so we're going to give this player a bleed, and this player a bleed, and me a bleed, and then we're also going to give everyone a protect. This is the same 2 actions that every single player has. Now we're going to get rid of these. We don't need these anymore. Okay. All right, and finally, this quarter is just used to determine who the elder is, which is also the first player. So the elder is determined every round, and that you total up a player's influence plus their blood. So this is 8 plus 4, that's 12, and in this case we have 8 plus 5, that's 13. And this is probably 8 plus 5, that's 12 also. Okay, so we're going to choose one of these randomly. Let's just choose it for me. I'm the elder. Okay, let's get started. So the goal of the game is for a vampire to get 10 influence. The way you do that is the player who is the elder, which in this case, I just showed you that. He goes first, he or she. And the elder chooses, in secret, chooses 1 target for their bleed and 1 target for their protect. Now the bleed will take up to 3 blood from the target and give it to the vampire. If it's a human, you'll usually kill the human and take the human as a servant, which gives you that human's influence. If you play it at the hospital, you get the blood right here at the hospital, and you also get to draw one of these cards, which is a cool, very, very good thing to have. Okay, so I'm going to choose one action for my bleed, and in this case, let's just keep it simple. I'm going to flip this over before I show it. Some of the other players don't know if this is my bleed or my protect. And I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to just do this. This is going to be kind of a little bluff. Other players hopefully won't see this. I shouldn't just reveal the card like that. Other players in multiplayer will actually see that. So I'm just going to put these back here, and don't mind me. I'm just going to fake everyone out. Okay, this game is all about bluffing. So let's just put 1 card there and 1 card here. Okay, then this player is going to place their cards. For now, we'll just do it randomly. Oops, don't show anyone what you're playing. Okay, let's do that. Let's just do this. Okay, now the cards that you can play, the places you can play your cards are on any card that has blood on it. So that means it can be a human that has blood, the hospital, which has blood on top. It can actually be a vampire also. Oops, not that, right here. It can be a vampire. You can attack or protect other vampires. So, okay, so when you place an action, sorry, this is like kind of disorienting as I try to explain this electronically. I've done it in real life, never electronically. Okay, so when I place a card, the cost is going to be free for any target next to me. So in this case, I'm this devourer, and these humans are right next to me. So those are free. If I wanted to play this card 1 more space away from me, like here on this vampire, then that actually costs me 1 blood. So it goes 0, 1, 2. Okay, and then in a bigger game with 4 or 5 people, if I count the nearest, whichever way I want to count is okay. But maybe if I'm targeting a vampire up here, it might cost me 3 blood because they're so far away. This represents the reach, like how hard it is for my vampire to get there and to use my influence to get there. So if I wanted to place this card here, I would actually count 0, 1 for this vampire. I actually take 1 of the blood off my vampire and place it right on top of the card. That's the cost it takes me to place that. Okay, now this guy is going to place 1 card on the hospital. Hospital is always free, so it never costs anything. And this human is just 1 space away from the vampire, so that's free. And then this player is going to place theirs. Let's just do it kind of randomly. Oops, you didn't see that. Okay, and actually let's just place, just for giggles, let's place it here. Okay, so this one's free, so that's 0, but then 0, 1, so he's going to place 1 blood on top. Okay, everyone's placed their actions. This is kind of the meat of the game. Everyone is bluffing. You're talking about, you might be table talking or whatever. And so everyone's placed their cards. Now, if you want to, you can actually, after everyone's placed their cards, you can actually move your cards. So sometimes, depending what other people do, you realize you actually really want to do something else. So if anyone wants to move their card, They may ask the elder, which in this case is me, or the one closest to me. They say, hey, elder, here's the reason. Maybe they can kind of role play a little, and they say, I really, I got screwed over here. I really don't want to move this. Instead, I want to move it here. Because this guy, I have a feeling he's going to be attacking here, and it's going to cramp our style, so I'd like to move it here. So he asks the elder, can I move this? If the elder says yes, then it costs 1 blood. You put 1 blood on, oops, try this again, put 1 blood on top. If the elder says no, you cannot move that. It stays here, and the elder must pay 1 blood to the bank. So the elder can stop people from moving their cards, but he must pay blood to do that. After everyone has chosen whether they decide whether they want to move some cards or not, they can do it as much as they want. Then the round is over, and now we flip all the cards over, and we start with the elder. So here we go. We have 1 card on the elder. This goes away. That blood is spent. We flip it over. Bleed. Okay. This guy, this vampire here bled the devourer. Again, the bleed says he takes 3 blood. This is going to make a lot of sense in just a second, I promise. He's going to take 3 blood. He's going to take 1, 2, 3. That he just bled me. He just sucked me dry. I just took 3 blood. That sucked. Okay, that card goes away. Now, we're done with this. Now we're going to go clockwise around here. We're going to go over here now. There's nothing to do here. Or actually, this one, yeah, sorry, we did place this here. Did we? No, no, we didn't. Sorry, that was up here. Okay, so nothing happened here. Then I'm going to flip this card, bleed. Okay, so I'm going to bleed this vampire. So that was him. He's going to take 3 blood. 3. Okay, put this back. Now this guy bled here. Oh, he did a protect. Okay, nothing happens. That wasn't nice, but it could have been a fake out. And then over here, nothing happens. And then finally, we've got this. That's a protect. Wow, this isn't a very helpful first round. I apologize. And then here, we have 2 people that bled, or 1 person protected, 1 person bled the hospital. Okay, I think this was me protecting, and I think it was this person bleeding. I kind of forgot. So the way that protect works is I can spend 1 blood to stop a bleed. That's how it works. I don't have to. I may if I want to. So I say, oh, well, if he bleeds here, he's going to get 1 blood, and he's going to take a hospital card. Well, I guess that's okay. I just lost some blood here, so I'm not really feeling like I have a lot of blood, so I'm just going to let him happen. I'm going to let that happen. So I think that's what, is that the, yep, that's whose card that was. Okay, so he's going to bleed the hospital. He's going to get 1 blood. He's going to take a hospital card, and this is actually hidden, so it goes into his hand like this. He can look at that, but it's hidden only to him. Okay, now we're all done the round. Now we just, what do? We do the hunger. So we just look at each person, and each person loses 1 blood, because that's what vampires do. They're always need to feed. That's what that represents. They lose 1 blood to the bank. And now we determine who's the elder. So again, we look at the total influence plus blood. This is 9. Over here, we have 5 plus 5, that's 10. And over here, we have 6 plus 8, that's 14. So you, congratulations, are the new elder. So the elder has a disadvantage because he must go first. And going first is actually pretty crappy in this game. But he also has that really powerful ability where he can stop other people from doing things. Now, of course, the more blood he spends to stop people from moving cards, the less the chance, the harder it is for him to stay elder, because you remember you add the blood plus influence. Okay, so anyways, now let's see what would happen if I bled. I need to show you something. This is very important. This is how you gain influence. Say I bleed the psychiatrist. No one stops me. No one protects me. Okay, then bleed takes 3 blood. He only has 2, so I take both of these. I'm just going to drink that psychiatrist dry, and then I actually take the psychiatrist and I put it underneath my card. Okay, so that's how you take humans. You bleed them, and no one protects them. Now he adds this influence, that 2, onto my 4. So now I'm at 6, and again the goal is to get to 10. So that was actually a very significant move. No one can attack these servants. When you bleed a human, they become your servant and they give you points. It's basically just points. No one can attack them. They can't take them. They're permanent. And then they sometimes give you this some extra cool ability, which you're going to have to read on each card. About half the vampires have half the humans have abilities when they become a servant. Okay, so the game proceeds like this. Now we're going to all place our cards again. We're going to do just like we did last round, and we're going to keep going until someone gets to 10 influence. Now, that's the basic game. There's a few other wrinkles which are pretty big. One of the wrinkles is, you see how I just killed this human here. There's no human. Now, because there's no human here, this vampire is actually he's my nearest target. So if I want to play cards on this vampire, that's free. That's a free thing for me because there's no humans in between. Also, these humans don't come back. You don't deal out more humans until they're all killed. So now I'm going to have to attack here. Maybe I'll attack this guy, maybe the hospital. But say this guy gets mounged. He's okay. He's over here. He becomes this person's. Thank you. He gets the blood. Okay. Now there's only one human left, so we're all fighting over this one human, and we don't draw more humans until all of them are destroyed. So say or all of them are taken rather. So let's say he gets. Oh, this interface is kind of befuddling me. Here we go. Okay, so now all humans are gone. Now during the blood phase, the hunger phase, we're each going to play our one blood. God, is this the worst video ever? I'm sorry. Now all the humans are gone. We're just going to deal out more humans. That's how that works. So I'm going to flip this. You put a human there, put a human there, put a human there. You probably want to rotate these so they kind of look cool. Okay. So the game ends when someone gets 10 influence. Now the other big wrinkle, there's a couple other big wrinkles. One is every single vampire has a crazy ass power. So this is where the game gets interesting. For me, instead of taking a human, instead of taking him, I can instead destroy him and I can get all my blood back. Now for me, my max blood is 8 in that upper right. So when I start to get close to death, down to 1, 2, 3 or blood, it can be really nice to just kill a human and refill all my blood. It can be a real game changer. This guy, for instance, Flash. He's super fast. He can move his cards anywhere on the board. Remember that phase where you can move cards and ask the Elder? He can do that all for free, so he doesn't have to pay for that. That's pretty sweet. What does this guy do? Illusionist. So before he turns his actions over, he can spend a blood to reverse the two. So this is a really, really interesting card because he can basically bluff. And he can also respond to what other people are doing pretty cheaply. So you kind of don't know which way he's going. Okay, a couple other rules that are probably pretty important. Okay, actually very important. One of these I just added today, which is why I just remembered it just now. If a vampire goes to 0 blood, say he gets bled by, I don't know, this guy. What is this? Okay, it's a protect. Say this guy bleeds me, and this guy, they're ganging up on me. Not nice. They both bleed me. Boom. Okay. Actually, first of all, let me tell you what happens. If 2 people attack a human at once, 2 vampires like this. Here we go. They flip their cards. Boom. They attack the human. They split the blood equally. So these actually go to the host vampire. And then because they were both fighting over him, they just rip him apart. This poor hunter. I never thought I'd say poor hunter, but this poor hunter is just dead. So neither person gets them. So you can only get a servant if you bleed the servant yourself. Okay, now what happens if 2 people bleed a vampire and you actually kill me? Okay, so say these 2 guys both bleed me. They gang up on me. They say, oh, you're in the lead. This isn't fair. We want to kill you. Okay, you're out of here. So again, I have 4 blood. They each would try to take 3, but they can't. There's only 4 total. So they're going to split the blood. You're going to get 2. And you're going to get 2. Okay, boom. Actually, these should always go on the vampire. This is super messy. Just ignore this. Oh, God. Okay. Tabletop Simulator, too much physics. Okay, so they both bleed me. They split the blood just like you do with a human. And actually, I'm now at 0 blood, so I go to sleep. So vampires, when they get really close to death, they go to torpor. At least that's what White Wolf says. So I go to torpor. I'm out of the game temporarily. Okay, I flip my card over. Now what happens is I can no longer play these action cards down here. Okay, and what happens is during that upkeep phase, after we've played all of our cards and resolved them, normally a vampire pays 1 blood for the hunger. But if you're in torpor, instead you gain 1 blood. So I'm healing. Okay. Now at the beginning of that phase, if you want to, if you have blood, you can flip your card over. So the first time, you can leave sleep and you can enter the game again. So the first time you go to torpor, you're out. You're going to miss a turn. Okay, I go to torpor. It's the beginning of the blood phase. Instead of losing a blood, I gain a blood. But it's only at the beginning of the phase. If I have blood, I can choose to come out of torpor. This is not the beginning of the phase. I get my blood. Now we start a new round. These guys both play their cards. They're kind of fighting over the board themselves. They're doing all this stuff. I'm sad. I'm not playing. They're hitting the hospital, doing all this cool stuff without me. Boom, boom. They're taking stuff. Cool. Okay. Now, if I want to, I get another blood. And if I want, I can come back in the game. So I'm back in the game. Now I only have 2 blood, so I'm still super weak. But the idea is I can still win. So you can gang up on vampires and send them to torpor, and you can take them out of the game temporarily. But you're not just going to win. The player that's in the lead is probably, they still have a good chance to win. Okay, so that's torpor, and I think that's actually all the rules. It's actually quite simple, although it kind of sounded super complex when I just explained that to you. That wasn't exactly the best job, but it's the first video. We'll see how that goes over, and I can record another video if you like. Again, the object of the game is to get to 10 influence first. As soon as you get to 10, you win. There's probably some other edge cases I forgot to mention in this video. You can grab the PDF and all the information about the game at charliecleveland.com/moonlight. And that's about it. I'm really hoping that people like this game, and I'd love to make it a paper reality. I'd love to print the cards up and do really nice art and kickstart that crap and do all that. So, excuse me. Leave me your feedback in the Steam forums or on my website, charliecleveland.com/moonlight, and let me know what you think. The game is definitely still evolving, and I would love to make it a whole lot better. So I hope you like it, and enjoy. Thank you.